Hey, what's up, everybody? Guillermo Lopez. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Walking Dead. I'm a big fan of the show, and just want to put some thoughts down real quick. We've got about an hour and a half until episode 2 of season 4 premieres. So I'd like to recap the first episode and then have my thoughts going forward with the show as a whole, and then what I anticipate, what I think is going to happen this whole season. As far as the season premiere was, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was nice and balanced. We had some development with Rick. I really like the opening scene of the show where he has his headphones on. He's this happy little guy gardening, digs up his gun, doesn't think anything about it. You know what I mean? He's just like a happy little dude out there, peaceful. And then, he pulls out the earbuds, looks over, sees the zombies, and the bitter reality comes crashing down that he's still living in this hell, this future apocalypse of a kill or be killed world. And so I think that it's kind of like that I think is going to set the tone for his character in this upcoming season. I really also like the storyline they had with him in the forest. He has to take out his gun. He doesn't want to have his gun anymore, but the council, which apparently he's not a part of, tells him to please take out his gun. He finds this woman. He wants to help her. At the same time, he's kind of conflicted, like, well, I should probably take her back and let the council decide. So he follows her out there. She has her little storyline where she ends up killing herself. He asks her the 3 questions. And the 3 questions: how many people have you killed? How many zombies have you killed? And why? At her 3rd answer, why? She says, because we can't come back. I think that's going to be a major theme for Rick. I think Rick is trying to balance being a father, being a gentle person now. I think he's kind of like, realized some of the mistakes that he's made and the consequences that have happened to the group because of that. Even though everybody tells him, hey, you're doing a great job, it's an impossible thing to do to be a leader. But I think that going forward, we're going to see the conflict of him trying to be a good person, but at the same time recognize the fact that he is a killer of zombies and of people, and that he's going to have to do what he has to do to survive for him and his family. So I thought it was a nice balance. I thought it was pretty well written. As far as the prison goes, we've established that it's kind of like a little city now. They have a council. There's running water. They have a garden. Looked like they had a cantina. They're grilling outside, having some breakfast, have some nice little brunch going on the outside with like little nerdy guys that come in and, hey, take over the cooking. I'm going to go talk to this major character for a while. Pretty nice situation. So overall, I thought this episode was really well balanced. One of the things you have to take into account with Walking Dead is that they've had 4 executive producers, which means that 4 different people who are basically running the show. And each one has lasted 1 season long. So Frank Darabont started off the show. He's a series creator. Season 1 was a shorter season than most. It had less episodes because they didn't know if it was going to work or not. And it was good action. It was good drama. Introduced some characters, kind of like established the world. I thought they had a direction where they wanted to go to the CDC and Center for Disease Control, find out what was going on. I thought it was a pretty good season. I thought that's what grabbed a lot of viewers. Nice scares, good zombie kills, but decent characters you could care about. Season 2 was just kind of like a waste. I think that they tried to get a little too much into the drama. I think they wanted to build up to zombie attacks, but they ended up putting a lot of fans, a lot of audience members to sleep. I know a lot of people that really like season 1 stopped watching after season 2. Just kind of drugged down, not a lot happening, stuck on the farm. But at least we were able to lose Shane and lose the Lori, Rick, and Shane Lover's Triangle dilemma and get rid of that. Season 3 I thought was pretty good. Started off great. Started off with a lot of action. Introduced the governor. Introduced the town of Woodbury. I don't think they really knew what to do with Andrea, and they just kind of left her flailing in the wind, where she became like a dumb character, where people are just like, okay, how many times are you gonna go, hey, you can't do that, that's horrible, you're doing this, people, and then still keep boning the guy. So she kind of got written into a corner. I think the writers in general kind of got written into a corner where they led up to the halfway. If you remember the mid-season break of season 3, it was up to the prison. They're go rescue Glenn. They're shooting at each other. You know what I mean? They've got brother versus brother. And then the next 3 or 4 episodes after that, when it came back from mid-season break in season 3, was just really boring. Not a lot going on. Rick had a meeting with the governor and is talking about how he's going to kill this guy, and he sits down and talks with them for a while. Nothing happens. Instead of just pulling out his gun, shooting him in the face, and then ending the whole situation. But I think they kind of rid themselves in a corner, and I really did not like the way they ended season 3. It was ambiguous with the governor. Is he going to come back? I guess he's going to come back. Everybody's talking about it, so it just kind of seemed like a waste to build up to that big thing. There's no huge fight at the prison. Instead, he just guns down his dudes and takes off. So I thought it was kind of a cop out. But now we're on our 4th showrunner, and I think he has the general direction. The little tidbits that I've gathered online, and then from watching Talking Dead. Sounds like that he really, I think that he's going to get back to the core of the show. And I'm excited about it. I think that he's got a reputation for developing characters. I think he's written some of the better things as far as giving us a reason to appreciate the characters and want to see them live or die. As far as like my predictions going for what I think is going to happen the rest of the way, I think it's going to be total bloodshed, man. I think it's just going to be nuts. I think it's going to be killer. I'm looking for like a red wedding type situation here. I think some major characters are going to die. I think a lot of like the extras, the people that are populating the prison that we don't really know about, I think are going to die too. At the end of the episode 1, we have the nerd guy who's sick, coughs all over the water supply, dies in a shower, turns, and now he's loose at night in the prison with nobody around. I think that he's going to bite some people. Other people are going to bite. It's going to be mass confusion. I think people are going to flee out of the prison, kind of like looking at what's going on. And I really think that I'm excited for that, because I think that gives a chance for the characters to be out on the road. I think that the true what really worked in season 1 was them being on the road, them being it's hard to write a show for a bunch of characters sitting around where you don't have like 2 or 3 characters actually doing something, but you can't really create new storylines for people when they're all just kind of stuck in the same place, looking for food, being hungry. There's no threat, except for like, hey, let's go down and look at this tunnel, or like, oh, let's go explore this dark, creepy place, or like, oh, we're gonna go except that one cabin, let's go see, and that's where the zombies come from. It's kind of contrived, but I think if there is the massacre that I'm hoping for in episode 2, I think that it's going to put characters on the road. I would like to see Michonne, Rick, and Carl form their own little alliance, and I think Michonne is going to kind of guide them towards the governor, where she thinks the governor's in Macon. I think you can put Glenn and Daryl in their own little group, maybe a couple extras. So I think that you've got a real chance for excitement, a real chance for tense situations when they're on the road, when you turn around and there's zombies all behind you. If you remember when they introduced Tyrese in season 3, his group's running. They run for 5-10 minutes, they turn around, hack a couple of zombies, and they keep running and stop, and there's more zombies, and they keep hacking and keep hacking. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. I think that's what the show's going to get back to. I'd really like to see the baby die. I think that the baby doesn't really serve any purpose now with Lori gone. There's nobody to watch the baby. It's barely in any of the episodes anyways, and it's just kind of like a hindrance. You can't take the baby on the road. What about diapers? What about formula? There's all kinds of questions that they're not really answering with the baby anyway. So I say kill the baby. I say kill Herschel. Get rid of him. He's just kind of hanging out now anyways. I don't really know why he didn't die in season 3. So I'd like to see more major characters die. I'd like to see it get more dicey. The producers have already said they're going to introduce Abraham, which if you read the comics, you know that he's kind of like this gung-ho military guy. He's got this like mulleted professor guy that comes with him, and then a hot Latina girlfriend that he has. Rick could easily find those guys on the road. I think there's also a chance to, as far as like making the show exciting and making the show good, where you can have an episode where Carl gets kidnapped by a bunch of like, I don't know, redneck weirdos, you know what I mean? And then like Rick has to like go kill a bunch of redneck weirdos to get his son back. That's a whole episode. That's exciting. That's intense. I don't think all the threats need to come from the zombies. I think they built the governor up a little too much without having the big chase, without having the big payoff. It came back kind of empty. But there's got to be other kind of vigilante groups out there. There's got to be good groups. There's got to be bad groups. There's got to be a lot more, pitfalls, dangers. It's really hard to have people locked into one area and keep finding consistent dangers without like, okay, here's a bunch of talking, here's the zombie scene, here's a bunch of talking, here's the zombie scene, which I think is what we've ended up with having now. So I'm really hopeful for the next episode. Like I said, for the next season, and like I said, I'm really hopeful that there's a lot of bloodshed. I think we can lose most of the characters here. I think if we get down to about a 6 or 7 main characters, let's say 8, then you can, like I said, each week can be a new danger, a new situation where these characters over here, you can cut to this group, that group, will they get back together? They're interlocking, they're coming back and forth. I think that will be the best benefit of the show going forward. All right. Well, like I said, it's about an hour and a half until the season premiere. Until the episode 2 premiere. So yeah, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching, and have fun.